Hey, gang. Joey back with Frank Culotta as my guest today. It's an honor to me, you know. Like when I talked to Frank, he was like, it's no big deal, Joe. You don't have to say thank you and everything. We were just here talking on the break, and I'm going to jump into it because it's like I'm beating around the bush. You did a lot of things, put a lot of people out. Let's just put it that way. Let me be more frank, okay? You killed people.
That's right.
And you're telling me that was your job to do that?
It's yeah, it was at the time, and it's no different than being, I hate to use this term, but it's no different than being in the military.
Okay.
They send these guys out to fight these people from other countries. They don't even know who they're killing when they're killing, right? At least I knew who I was going to kill, and it wasn't the right thing to do. But I worked for an organization that if they called upon you to do it, you either done it or you got whacked.
Okay.
So they wouldn't call upon you if they didn't think you weren't going to do it.
Right, and the point is this. I want to make this point. This ain't a movie. This is reality. And
reality.
And like I spoke today, this man was there with your boss, being who?
Tony Splaccio.
Tony Splaccio.
Actually, Tony had a boss, and his boss was Joe Lombardo.
Yes, exactly. So the bottom line is you did a lot of things. Do you regret doing a lot of these things?
Oh, of course I do. I do now. At the time, I didn't regret them, but I do now.
Okay.
I'm much older and wiser.
Right, and I think you're doing some great things now, but I look at it this way. It is what it is, and it was a time when things happened.
Well, Joe, let me interfere with
Please.
that. Let me interfere.
Please.
We never looked for anybody to purposely hurt them for nothing. Usually people would cause their own demise.
Okay.
And 99% of the time.
Right.
There have been mistakes making where the wrong guy got killed. That happens.
All right.
But usually 9 times out of 10, it's they done something really wrong. And to hurt somebody, they may have been a rat walking around with a wire, an informant, or they might have been stealing from you, But we never pressed anybody to take any money.
Right,
if you needed money,
yeah,
you came to me and asked for money.
I understand.
And I tell you,
I understand that.
here's what happens. If you don't pay,
I understand.
Right. I didn't look for you to say, here, take this money and you got to pay me.
Right.
And people don't understand that.
And then they, they went bye-bye because if they didn't pay. Let's talk about Lester a minute. Can we bring that up?
Who, the pimp?
Well, yeah, you call him a pimp.
You talking about the guy in the movie?
Yeah.
Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a half-ass pimp. The guy. I had nothing to do with him. Actually, I just know that Jerry Rosenthal,
right,
who used to date him, and he popped in and out. He was a mooch, always looking for money.
Okay. And
he'd give her some coke and stuff like that. So, that was Lefty's issues. That was for him to handle.
Right. And I want to talk about, we were talking about the car, the Eldorado, you were bringing that up, but I'm talking about more, I hope I get the name right, and I apologize if I don't, but you put a few bullets in a guy and he still wasn't stopping.
Yeah.
So your buddy came in and helped. What was that about? What kind of bullets were these?
Well, I thought they were firecrackers at first.
Madon, I watched not to interrupt, but I watched the piece, and you unloaded the 38. And the guy
no, it wasn't a 38. It was a 22.
Oh, was it 22? Okay, I thought on the thing. I thought
no, it was a 22.
All right, so it's a 22, and then that don't work. So now we go to a rope or
well, I shot him in the head. Like I emptied the gun out on his head, and he kept on running. And he reached the kitchen, and he tried to open up the garage door, his electric door opener, and he hit it, and I hit his hand, stopped it, and he was still alive.
Yeah, this guy was still going like a robot. So what'd you do? Grab a rope? Was it a rope?
I grabbed the cable from the cooler, the water cooler, and I put it around his neck. You got to finish the job now, and it broke.
Right, but then didn't your buddy?
Well, wait a minute. Now I'm reaching for a knife.
Man,
I got to cut his throat. I got to end this. Excuse me.
Hey, you got water.
And then I hear the garage door open, and it's my my partner, and he comes in. He was supposed to be
Right,
outside on the calls.
Is it
listening to
Ernie?
the radio.
Am I right? Is it
It's
Ernie?
Wayne. No, it's Wayne.
Wayne. Okay, all right.
And he comes in and he hands me bullets, and I think, how the hell did he figure this one out? But evidently, he must have counted the shots in the car. And then when I didn't come out right away, he figured, well, I didn't do the job. It wasn't finished. So we reloaded,
Right.
and I emptied the next in his head and threw him in the pool.
So since we're talking about that and everything, and I was personally raised around all this and everything, the 22 does a little dancing around the body, right? If I hit you with a 45, it's going to go through. Am I right about that?
Do you realize how loud it is?
Huh?
Do you realize how loud a 45 is?
Just see what he's saying here.
There's a big difference in the sound. Although when you're shooting a 22 in a house, it sounds like an explosion too.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is that bullet will dance around.
It'll
and hit,
bounce
or,
around your head. I know guys have been hit in the head, and it just travels around the skull.
Okay, instead of just like you hit me here and it goes through.
You get
right?
lost in your body. It could get lost in your body at 22, which
Right.
could be more harmful
Yeah.
in the end.
My dad, God rest his soul, said they used to put the garlic in there a little bit sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
I never did that, but
You never
he
put the
could have
garlic
done
in?
that, no.
But you heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Chicago thing. They put the garlic on the pizza too. It's wonderful. You should try it. I'm telling you right
Actually, it's
now.
supposed to make you healthier.
We got it. We love garlic. All right, we love it. Here with Frank Culotta. It's wonderful. Books, tours. He
Marrying
married.
people.
I was just saying, minister. He marries people. Check him out. Let's see. That's
and
crazy.
now I'm having a dinner with Frank Culotta.
Well, I love this because we want to take him to lunch and everything, and then like he started ordering the whole menu. It
He's
was
got to
like,
pay.
That's crazy. I love that. So someone's hearing the story and they're like, "That's crazy." But you wanted me to ask these questions, did you not? All right. So you regret some things. Then what happened? The bottom line is there came a time where am I right about this or not? Don't things go down and then things change and maybe guys talk, relationships change?
There's an old saying, Joe, what goes up comes down.
Yeah, gabish. And
You know,
and the Omerta code, that I'm talking about,
I
things
know what you're
change.
saying.
But
I
things
know.
change, right?
They change because somebody made them change.
Okay, and then what happens is there's an opportunity for you either to go away or speak.
I wouldn't call it, well, you call it an opportunity, But when I find out my best friend is trying to save his own ass and claim that I was the one that was doing all of this without his orders, trying to put me on a chopping block, I had to do a little thinking on this because I know the outfit's got a long arm and I would get whacked. Listen, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I seen 47 friends of mine get whacked by the outfit. All because they said, well, it won't happen to me.
Okay.
And then they go in on a meeting and they never come back. This happened to Tony and his brother, too.
Right, sure, and we've seen that. You go in for
I
a
just
call.
was a little quicker this time.
Okay. But you got away with a lot is what I'm trying to say. How come they didn't I know you did you did time, if I might say that, but the point is, how come they didn't get you for all these other things? It was obvious.
I had immunity from prosecution.
Okay. All right.
I got immunity from prosecution.
But you
or
had
else I would have never had no cases either.
But you had to talk to people. You had to tell people things.
It wasn't fun either.
I'm sure.
Took me 30 years before I realized that it was tough. It was 30 years thinking about it. I was not born to tell on people. I come from a neighborhood, Italian people. We don't talk about nobody.
Okay, and I love that because don't be upset, but my dad passed away at 72, but
Yeah.
you're like a father figure, and that's how I was raised. Stop the seat. You never say anything about anybody.
No,
you
you're
keep
not
your mouth
supposed to.
shut. That's just how we're raised, and that's basically how I'm raised.
But
You
I
like my
wasn't going to get
CDs
killed
over
for a friend of mine.
there? I understand what you're saying. So instead of you taking a bullet in your head, you had to do what you had to do.
That's right.
You were talking about the hat a minute. I got a few seconds. What kind of hat's that?
Santana.
What'd you get it for? Like $1, 75 or something?
Nah, it's a $175 hat. I got it for $0. Guy left it behind. I had a meeting with the guy in L.A. at the Rainbow Bar and Grill.
I love
Everybody
it.
heard of that place.
On
right?
Sunset.
At Sunset. A friend of mine owns the joint.
Nice.
So the guy left, and he left his hat behind. When I got home, I get a call from the people at the restaurant, and I told the guy, "We'll put it on the side." I got on. I come back a week later, picked up the hat. I call up the guy. He said, "Keep it."
Yeah, keep it. I want to give Frank Culotta a hat. You're watching the Joey Ciccone show. Today's a special day. It's about this guy right here, okay? I'm having a great time, all right? We got to take a little break. We'll come back. We talk about some more things, all right? Ciao.